Hi. If anybody is listening to us for the first time and knows nothing about Punk for the Homeless, basically we're in Nottingham and we have a monthly gig on the last Saturday of every month apart from December. That holiday Christmas thing gets in the way.
Gets moved over.
So we have a gig and we've been doing that for about 5 years there.
Yeah.
And on the second Saturday of the month we do a gig in Sheffield at the wonderful pub The Bay Horse.
That's in Pittsmore Road.
Check it out. Good beer, cheap prices.
Yeah.
So
all you want.
Yeah, you can't want anything else. So it costs about 12 pence to feed one of the children we support, and they really need that. So thank you to everybody who's donated. We are aware that people are struggling right now and worried about how they're going to make ends meet. So
Loot Tories.
But every little helps, really. So whatever you've got spare, even if it's £1, just pay it. You know, let's make a donation, let's make a difference. Because no matter what Thatcher said about there being no society, I just thought it really funny that Boris said this is an example of society working.
Idiot. We might do a song type thing out about him at the end, eh?
Hey, that'd be good.
Yeah. All right.
Right, so we really enjoyed watching Breaking Bad. I don't know if anybody else did. I bought it Eagle for a Valentine's present.
You did.
We're so romantic, it's unbelievable.
Romantic as fuck.
So after that, I was minded to write a poem, and this poem's called Breaking Bad, UK Style. Walter White, chemistry teacher, gets lung cancer. He gets his treatment for 3. There you go.
End of story.
That's it.
Good.
So all these countries without an NHS who are struggling, let's look at that and know that the precious thing we have, the thing we have in front of us that we love.
Yeah.
And quite a while ago now, I wrote a poem for the NHS. And so for me, this is for all the girls. This is for everybody I know who's in nursing. There are too many to name.
Not just girls, I'm next nurse.
And then, yeah, you're at home though.
Community psychiatric nurse.
Heaven help us all. So basically I wrote the NHS this. Count the ways that I love you if you can. I love you in any day that begins with a shaky tea trolley and a smile. I love you when I'm admitted in the middle of the night as my baby starts to come. As the calm voice of the midwife takes over and eases my labour. I love you when my 2-year-old slams the car door on his thumb, having to have his nail removed in wards where the walls are painted red, yellow and green, and Bob is still building on the telly. I love you when you close the door and explain my dad doesn't have long to live. Tears come into your eyes as you hold my hand. You stay late just to ease his passing. I love you when in pain my nephew gets an ambulance in the dead of night and is rushed into surgery. And I love you so much. I will fight. I will scream and I will march with sore feet so that I won't have to tell my grandchildren in a hushed voice that we let them take our National Health Service and we show them around museums where photographs and articles talk of a national coal board now gone and a national railway service barely even remembered. Thanks, guys.
Right. I think we live in a time we need a bit of hope. So his poem's about hope. It's called Glimmer. There's a glimmer in the margins and the edges there is hope. When Babylon the Great has gone up in smoke, when a state has been broken and the bombs have been dropped and the head of state has finally been chopped, the ones forced on the outside have learned to love and care. When it's the spirit of community, not the spirit of fear. We'll see love in our brothers, a face of God in our sisters, of soothing cream for our balms, and balm for our blisters, the same spirit within us, and be of one mind, no longer violent, but gentle and kind, no more vultures pecking and tearing our flesh, but children and kittens and food which is fresh. There'll be embraces and kisses, there'll be strawberries and cream. At the end of their nightmare, we'll realise our dream.
Those of you who know us know that we're in a band called Activistus, and we've been in the studio recently. But unlike most bands, Eagle and Danny wrote the song, sorted the music, we rehearsed it, and a day later recorded it.
Yeah, so that'll be out soon. But this one's called Mother Earth is Dying.
Oh, it's ever so happy.
Rachel's going to sing the chorus, I'm going to do the verses.
Mother Earth is dying, dance upon her grave. Let's lift a glass to the fuck we never gave. And sometime in the future, we will change our ways. We will all be vegan. In the end of days, in the end of days.
We cannot eat money, thus spake Sitting Bull. We've killed off all the rivers to make the white man rule. We've chopped down all the trees just to wipe our ass. People are starving, democracy's a farce.
Mother Earth is dying, dance upon her grave. Let's lift a glass to the fuck we never gave. And sometime in the future, we will change our ways. We will all be vegan. In the end of days, in the end of days.
Rip the guts out the system, rebuild in its shell. The words of St. Dorothy, but we choose to rot in hell. In the near future, the oceans will be dead. We need this desecration just to rob the dead.
Mother Earth is dying, dance upon her grave. Let's lift a glass to the fuck we never gave. And sometime in the future, we will change our ways, and we will all be vegan. In the end of days, in the end of days.
Things cannot get darker. We've killed off everything. We are the consumers. It is collective sin. Take the piss out of Greta for speaking truth to power. Will we still be laughing in our final hour?
Mother Earth is dying, dance upon her grave. Let's lift a glass to the fuck we never gave. And sometime in the future, we will change our ways, and we will all be vegan. In the end of days, in the end of days.
Right, where's the fucking set list gone?
Oh, what you like? Oh, I'm doing one now.
Oh, go on, you do one. What are you doing?
I'm going to do a poem. Somebody rang me up and asked what to write the next poem about.
Only pop.
And they asked me what to write a poem about. And I woke up laughing. And I wrote this. It's called The Rhythm. See what you think. I wake to a rhythm as old as time itself. The bed gently rocks as I feel him move. Fast breath catches in his mouth as I barely conscious, decide whether to join in or leave him to his private pleasures. How often have my sisters and brothers woken to similar sounds and sensations in Bedouin tents while the desert whispers outside, cool respite from the heat of the day, to igloos wrapped in warm animal hide, the wind whistling as the snow drifts, to caravans, the noise of the rain overhead, van rocking gently. Like the pulse of a nation, he judders, and all is calm once more. I'll leave that to your imagination. So, ruts.
Right, I've never been very lucky with ruts. I tried to see them a couple of times and it never happened. About 18 months ago, I managed to see Ruts DC and they were bloody awesome. But this is me trying to see the Ruts at one point. It's a true story. I was arrested for it, so you don't need to call the police.
He ain't gone out for a walk or anything.
No. Well, I'd had a few pints at lunchtime. When I was only 16, I was off to see the Ruts, and I was feeling keen. I was catching a train to Cambridge. The booze had hit my brain. I dropped my bloody ticket right under the bloody train. A guard was feeling kindly. He climbed on the track. I was most undeserving, but I got me ticket back. I boarded my train in Peterborough, but I didn't get very far. I was feeling pissed and hungry, so I went to a buffet car. I ordered a hamburger, but hamburgers I did not sell. If I were lying, I swear I could not tell. So I was feeling lost. I needed some hot food. Never mind the cost. I was hungry, pissed and rude. My next move might sound illogical, or some kind of bizarre joke. I went and got a fire extinguisher, and the buffet staff got a soak. The security they were summoned, the guards came after me. I could run fast in those days. I locked the lavatory. As the guards tried to get in, I opened a window and got out, on the top and running like a drunken cowboy lout. From carriage to carriage I was jumping. I didn't have a care. I was on the train. I had paid my fare. The wind, it was blowing, but the carriages were dry. I felt just like running right through the open sky. When someone pulled the cable, I tried running away, but I was drunk and unable. It was not my day. The police arrived pretty quickly, at least it seemed to me. I was arrested and handcuffed and soon in custody. I was charged with abusive language to disturb the peace. Not very fitting, really, but I understand the police had to charge me with something, and this is what they chose as I sat in the cells in my scruffy punk rock clothes. After a few hours, my parents came to collect their teenage hooligan desiring to wring my neck. I explained on the way home that it was not my fault. I'd lost my glasses out a window and a train they would not halt. A few months later, when I was up in court, the truth it came out. Father was looking fraught. Fraught is an understatement. Steam came from his head. At least it wasn't mother, or at 16 I'd be dead. Wrath was worse than the legal systems. I would have died for my crimes. Young punk rocker watches too many westerns. The headlines in the Cambridgeshire Times.
I can't believe
You
it.
can clap. If you don't clap, we don't piss off any quicker, you know.
You don't have to say it if they're not here. Ruben's upstairs. He's not remotely interested in what we do, is he? So, hastily concocted set list.
Yes.
Let's consult it. Oh, it's one of them crass things.
Yeah, we're going to do a crass cover now.
And we haven't done this for ages and ages. And
Bloody
truth be
hippies.
told, Eagle's not really a crass fan.
I do. I like a lot
He
of
likes
stuff.
bits, but You talk about your revolution, well, that's fine. But what are you going to be doing come the time? Are you going to be the big man with the Tommy gun? Will you talk of freedom when the blood begins to run? Well, freedom has no value if violence is the price. I don't want your revolution. I want anarchy and peace.
You talk of overthrowing power with violence as your tool. You speak of liberation and when the people rule. Well, ain't it people rule right now? What difference will it be? Just another set of bigots with a rifle sights on me.
But what about those people who don't want your new restrictions? Those that disagree with you and have their own convictions. You say they've got it wrong because they don't agree with you. And so when the revolution comes, you're going to have to run them through.
You say that revolution will bring freedom for us all. Well, freedom just ain't freedom when your back's against the wall.
You talk of overthrowing power with violence as your tool. You speak of liberation and when the people rule. Well, any people rule right now. What difference would there be? Just another set of bigots with their rifle sights on me.
Will you indoctrinate the masses to serve your new regime and simply do away with those whose views are too extreme? Transportation details could be left to British Rail. Where Cyclone B succeeded, North Sea gas will fail.
It's just the same old story of man destroying man. We've got to look for other answers to the problems of this land.
You talk of overthrowing power with violence as your tool. You speak of liberation and when the people rule. Well, any people rule what now? What difference will it be? Just another set of bigots with a rifle sights on me.
Viva la revolution! People of the world, unite! Stand up! You men of courage! It's your job to fight!
It all seems very easy, this revolution game. But when you start to really play, things won't be quite the same. Your intellectual theories of how it's going to be don't seem to take into account the true reality. Because the truth of what you're saying as you sit there sipping beer is pain and death and suffering. But of course you couldn't care.
You're far too much of a man for that. If Mao did it, so can you. What's the freedom of us all against the suffering of the few? That's the kind of self-deception that killed 10 million Jews. It's just the same false logic all power mongers use. So don't think you can fool me with your political tricks. Political rights, political left, you can keep your politics.
Government is government and government is force. Left or right or left, it takes the same old course. Oppression and restriction, regulation, rule and law. The seizure of the power is all your revolution's for. You romanticise your heroes, quote from Marx on Mao, while their ideas of freedom are just oppression now.
Nothing's changed for all the death that their ideas created. It's just the same fascistic games, but the rules aren't clearly stated. Nothing's really different, 'cause all government's the same. They can call it freedom, but slavery is their game.
Nothing's changed for all the death that their ideas created. It's just the same fascistic games, but the rules aren't clearly stated. Nothing's really different, because all government's the same. They can call it freedom, but slavery is their game. There's nothing that you offer but the dream of last year's hero, the truth of revolution, brother, 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 brother.
Is
year zero.
Year zero.
Thank you.
Yes.
Woo! I'll clap you. I'll give you a clap.
Whatever. So.
Well, you put the settlers right over
Where
there.
have I put the settlers?
Fucking hell.
Again, shut up. Shut up.
Okay.
Ugh. What are you like?
Oh, you're doing criminal damage, aren't you?
I am indeed. It's about 5 years ago now, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah. I think you only went to court about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Vincent, what's going on?
I've been a good boy.
There are jokes and then there are jokes, aren't there, really? And so Eagle got arrested for breaking into RAF Waddington. Basically, we'd campaigned outside for 18 months or something.
Yeah.
Nobody had taken any notice. RAF Waddington's where they press the button that puts a drone over the skies of another country and drops a bomb.
Often on schools and weddings and...
Yeah, and the government...
hospitals.
The government say they're accurate.
Well,
So unless they're targeting schools and weddings...
Yeah, well, we're either lying or we're targeting schools and hospitals, aren't they? So
basically...
Civilians.
Nobody took any notice. So Eagle and several others...
Well, 3 of us.
Broke into RAF Waddington.
Put it down, cut the fence, went in and closed them down for an hour.
And they had photographs of the people who were damaged by the drones to try and educate some of the people who work within the base. So I wrote this after. It's called Criminal Damage. We woke in darkness to drive to the airbase, nerves palpable with banners and bolt cutters, to trespass on ground soaked with the blood of the innocents. Booked in at the police station, shoes removed, escorted to a cell, Bible in hand. 12 hours just to pray and to read. A small price in defence of the innocent victims of acts of state-sponsored terror that I will not let happen in my name. Criminal damage is the charge. But isn't it questionable as to who is the criminal? Sadly, the damage is so much more than just cut wire. Cheers.
Yeah, and I've always been one of these punk rockers who thought ACAB, all coppers are bastards. But they banned me from Lincolnshire.
Yeah!
Okay, hell, not bad, is it, eh? I'll be back there one day, no doubt. We're supposed to have a gig here on Saturday, but that's cancelled now. But this one's about drones, because that's why I went invaded the airbase. The faceless killers came today, taking all my life away. Why did they come for me, murdering my family? I am just a farmer, poor. My argument was with those next door. Nothing to do with the CIA. The faceless killers came today. There is no reason, there is no rhyme for this horrendous crime. Just a heartless act of the will not to know, just to kill. The drones, they splattered my children's blood. In God we trust for the good. To inflict their democracy on a people they cannot see. With might that is never right, they set my house alight, and whilst my children burn and slept, the God they serve held and wept over such blasphemy, murdering so-called enemies. So now we live in times of drones, where faceless enemies take our homes, and act as accurate as a blind man's stick, and in our streets our bloods run thick. Our children's screams are not heard by the deadly hummingbird, and as X marks a deadly spot, families now decay and rot. The butchering of the innocent by the mosquitoes which was sent by the murderous CIA to kill our youngsters whilst at play. And as tablets bring the only sleep, babies die and mothers weep. The killing of civilians in a distant far-off land, a sanitised brutality from the land of the free. Also funded by the British pound, the sound of whirring all around. And I may not be of their clan, but I'm certainly not the Taliban. The omnipresent demonic god stalking our neighbourhood, waiting for a chance to strike, killing man, woman, child alike. No seeing the whites of eyes. Just press a button Don't see them die, don't see the horror, torment and pain. Never apologise, never explain. Just unmanned aerial vehicles in our skies to keep the killing sanitised.
Woo!
Thank you.
Set list.
Oh, dear.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, a million houses.
All right.
Oh, we enjoyed doing this one. We were in the Bell Inn in Sneinton, and there we were performing, and these lovely redneck Tories weren't very
Well, I
pleased.
think they're probably more even more right than Tories. They've definitely got a bit of fascist smell about them.
Yeah. They definitely weren't pleased, really, about having refugees housed by this country.
No, and we did this, and we did them chip shop fascist as well, which they didn't appreciate
And
either.
sadly, these are people who hoard toilet rolls.
Yeah,
If a virus leads you to act so terribly, what do they think makes you pass your baby over a fence?
Exactly.
Because if you do that, you've been pushed into a corner. It is shameful that Israel is using this virus to carry on its slaughter of a people. It is shameful. One thing I'm hoping, though, after all this is done, we need a proper reckoning. Yeah. We need a proper reckoning. Forget Boris saying China needs a reckoning. We need a reckoning. Because the people who are out there keeping us safe are the people who are possibly some of the lowest paid in the country. You know, the cleaners. I've been a cleaner, I've been a manager. I'll tell you which one's more hard work. Yes, you get more mental stress when you're a manager. But you know that physical stress, the exhaustion that comes from cleaning. You know, I take my hat off to you. Woo!
Yeah.
So, cleaners of the world.
We need a fucking good party as well after it.
I think we do. So, Eagle wrote this after the death of the little boy who drowned.
1 million houses stand empty, yet still we are full. £1.3 million bonuses for those that misrule. Look after our own. Britain comes first, the others belong in a sea of a hearse.
Well, the poor of my family, my siblings, my kin, open the borders and let them come in. Yes, the poor of my family, my siblings, my kin, open the borders and let them come in, let them in.
We have no money to spend on the poor. We need to buy weapons to bomb them some more. They might be jihadists, have beards and brown skin, those skinny infants with their disguises so thin.
Yes, the poor of my family, my siblings, my kin, open the borders and let them come in. Yes, the poor of my family, my siblings, my kin, open the borders and let them come in, let them in.
Amazon need their tax breaks, Starbucks do too. So stop overseas aid, that's what we must do. We'll go on bombing, it's a great British way. We created the war zones and in them they'll stay.
But the poor in my family, my siblings, my kin, open your borders and let them come in. Let them in, let them in, let them in.
Thank you very much.
Especially at this time of virus.
Yeah.
You know, the refugees sat in camps have no access to running water. They don't have a lovely home that's warm, that's got food inside. May God have mercy on us.
Yep.
For the state we've left people in.
And on Boris.
It's diabolical.
Thank goodness. You do realise that Punk Homeless is now an independent state and we have a new Prime Minister called Doris.
We do have a new Prime Minister called Doris. It's absolutely
So we're just going to... this one's about Boris Johnson.
No. Oh.
Yeah, I think we're getting time.
Okay.
So about Boris Johnson.
This is from me to you.
So shush, listen.
If you go down to Westminster, you're sure of a big surprise. 'cause sitting at number 10 is a creature we all despise. And he got in through the back door by telling countless lies.
Boris is a twat. Boris is a twat. Regardless of your IQ now, he's a fucking twat. So inhumanity is a good thing, and we're told that greed is good. By the Prime Minister, aka a slug. He stole Ken's bicycles, he made buffoonery cool. He isn't cute and cuddly, he's a Nazi's tool. Boris is a twat. Boris is a twat. Regardless of your IQ now, but he's a fucking twat. No tax upon your mansion, just upon your flat. And through the skull of the poor the Tories put an axe. Boris is a twat. Boris is a twat. Regardless of your IQ now, he's a fucking twat. His surname is Johnson. It is slang for dick. Boris fucking Johnson. You make me fucking sick. Boris is a twat. Boris is a twat. Boris is he's a fucking twat. He got very popular, and I got news for you. I'd love to get a dagger and run the fucker through. Boris is a twat. Boris is a twat. Regardless of your IQ now, he's a fucking twat. Thank you. We've been Eagle Spits and Rachel Drive. Thank you for tuning in. Keep tuned in to the festival. We've got some great stuff.
I love
coming
you.
up.
Keep safe.
Yeah, we love you. Keep safe. Bye.